I wanted to become a mechanical engineer in Guatemala, and I don't even know why, but that was the goal back then. I started studying it in 2017, trying to enjoy it while feeling it was not where I wanted to be. It was not my dream outcome to become a mechanical engineer, even though it might sound cool. There was this sense of not really choosing and live in my own path, but somebody else's. I could feel how far from my dream life that path was. It never sounded so cool to spend a lot of money for 6 years straight, only to spend a lot more just to actually graduate and then hope to get a job that would have a positive ROI. It just did not add up at all. So much time and money invested hoping for a decent return after graduating, which probably wouldn't be good at all. For me, I would have chosen to bet on myself at 18 instead of giving money to the university I enrolled in. It really is a bad investment, I think. What gets me is that studying is so necessary and useful, but there are different ways to do it now. In the end, university was not a great experience for me, and it was my fault. I didn't give it my all. I was just cruising and passing with no need to stress out. It could have been a season of constant learning to boost my development, but I was not willing to sacrifice for a dream that didn't feel like mine. When the moment came to decide whether to do the last steps and graduate, or to technically drop out after my last semester, it was an easy call. I was not willing to spend a day more pursuing a dream that was not mine. And that was mid 2022, 2 years ago already. And I feel so great that it happened the way it did, because I would not have done it right and would not have put in the effort needed to graduate. University is such a controversial topic in Guatemala, I think. But here in the US, it's different. There are lots of successful people with and without a degree, which gives you the opportunity to choose a path that you are actually committed to, with or without a degree. You can become someone. You can succeed. And I'm not saying it is not possible in Guatemala, but it's way harder. It's a different culture, a different point of view on things. And I even enrolled in college again. And apparently, I didn't learn the lesson the first time. And I ended up dropping out 6 months later, also in 2022, because it was not what I wanted. I feel like I have tried so many things and nothing works out the way I expected. But at least I tried and gave myself the opportunity to know what I don't want in life, to eventually get to know what I really want. I am discovering it, and I have enjoyed the process. There's a sense of accomplishment when I think about my failures, because I have failed so many times at so many things that I can say every failure drives me closer to the one success that will change my life one day. I sometimes find myself a little anxious because I feel I have fallen behind. But then I evaluate if I have become a better version of myself compared to the past. This makes me think and analyze my decisions, learn a thing or two, remember a thing or two, and get better. The goal is always to get better compared to past versions of myself. And I am biased, I guess, because it has not happened yet that I find myself thinking I am not better than my 1 year ago version, for instance. And I am curious how I would react if I ever felt I hadn't improved at all compared to my past self. It makes me wonder if I am mature enough to accept when the time comes that I have not improved, even became a worse version of myself. It also makes me wonder if it has already happened and I can see it, I can accept it, not to feel ashamed of myself. And this is the first time I think of it this way. Maybe I have not improved throughout a season. I'm not saying right now, but maybe I couldn't see it when it happened. I have constantly felt that I have become a better version of myself over the last 3 years or so. Not necessarily meaning I didn't improve before that period, but I didn't have this mindset of comparing myself to myself. Back then, I would only compare myself to others, feeling less than others, which is always going to happen, I guess, because there is always someone better at any given thing than me. But now I'm conscious of that. Back then, I wasn't. And that doesn't mean I don't compare myself to others anymore. As I said, I wish, but that's not the case. I just switched the mindset right away when I find myself comparing to others, to rather compare to my past versions. This actually makes me improve because by focusing on my past mistakes and my current issues, I can control and adjust and change to improve. Focusing on other people doesn't give a sense of control because I simply can't control what others do, which can become stressful. I used to channel my energy towards things that didn't matter, things out of my control. Even in my life, there are factors out of my control, for sure, but it becomes a little easier to identify those that are actually under my control, to channel my energy towards those and actually get better at any given thing. This has allowed me to grow as a human being, I think, and I have been told that it is that way. I hope those who say I have improved are not lying. But in the end, I am convinced that I have become a better version at last. And the goal is to never stop bettering myself, to never stop growing, to never stop learning. And the best example I find to describe this is getting in shape. Because the goal is not to get in shape, but to stay in shape. The goal is not to get better once personally, but to keep improving, adjusting, and growing, to keep playing the game, and to understand that it is not the end of the world if I find myself getting worse, because by being alive, I have the opportunity to take action and recalculate the route towards a better path. This has allowed me to feel at peace with myself and find a balance between the present and the future. I want to constantly get better for the future, but I have to be conscious enough to live in the present and take action now, not leave it for later. This is important for me because it allows me to risk and screw things up, knowing I can fix it in the future, but at the same time, trying to make the best move possible. But at the same time, trying to make the best move possible with my current knowledge, not to make it way harder for my future version to clean things up, and rather be thankful for the risks taken. The utopia would be to take so many risks to drop the odds of not hitting it big to zero, and that the one thing that hits it big covers and cleans up the mess made by the ones that did not work at all. But in real life, there are risks that are not worth taking, and identifying those requires skill, which I don't have. So most of the time, it is scary to take a risk because it can wipe me out of the game once and for all and leave me with nothing. But then I remember that I have nothing. So if there is a moment in life to risk it big, it is now. And that I am willing to do. Now feels like the moment to do it. something deep inside tells me it is. And so this is for my future version to listen to and see if it was worth it, so we can laugh and be proud of the risks taken or not. And it ends up being a hassle to clean up the mess made by those risks. Who knows? The bet is on. And hopefully it works. Yo soy Bruno. And I'll see you in the next one.